Hey guys, glad to be back, and I am in San Diego, sunny San Diego, in a social media marketing world 2018, and I came here to learn about all the techniques and the workshops and the features in the social media context. And then I met Lisa, and we were talking about different things, and I was sharing with her what I do and currently helping in the LinkedIn demographics and helping people in startups and founders with ideas and concepts, and how you prepare a mental state, the mindset to change and go and do something of your own. And then I met Lisa, and we started talking, and she's doing exactly the same thing, and she's doing in her podcast world, and she's from San Francisco Bay Area, and I'll probably let her talk about what she's doing. And it's pretty exciting. Lisa, why don't you introduce yourself and go from there?
Great, thank you so much, Pinaki. Yes, my name is Lisa Betts-Lacroix, and I have a podcast called the SuperPower U podcast, and that's a U with a U, which is representative of university, so it's all about learning, but also about you, the listener, and me at the same time, because really it's about us all learning together.
Absolutely. So how long had you been running this podcast? When did you launch it?
So I'm pretty new. I just launched December 14th,
Okay.
and so we're right out of the gate, but it's an amazing experience, fantastic to meet other people, and I'm getting to interview incredible guests who have a lot to share about the mental models and the tactical skills that we need to activate our inner superhero and to really rock what we're doing in the world.
And what platforms are you on?
So I'm on the
iTunes. You're on iTunes.
I'm on iTunes for sure. Basically, I launched through Libsyn, and that means that it basically populates to almost everything. So you
wonderful.
can find me on pretty much your favorite podcast platform. It doesn't matter whether it's Spreaker or Spotify. It doesn't.
Okay, cool. Okay, very good. So Lisa, why don't you talk a little bit about what is this podcast all about? What's the subject matter that you're working on?
Sure. So the topic of my podcast is superpowers, and I interview amazing people, experts, and also everyday rock stars to find the tactical skills and the mental models that they use in their given field, their field of expertise, that could be borrowed and utilized and applied across domains so that you and I and other people can use those same mental models and skills.
Now here's an intriguing question I have, and this also beats me. I continuously keep on thinking about it. How do you find your speakers, your interviewers? I mean, how do you find them?
I happen to be super lucky, super amazing in that I have an incredible community of people. Partly, like you're saying, you go to things, and I live in the San Francisco Bay Area in Silicon Valley, where people are thinking out of the box.
Absolutely.
And they are just changing up what they do and how they do it, and there's an incredible amount of intersection and cross-pollination between various domains. So I know amazing scientists, I know incredible speakers, I know people in mindfulness and spirituality kind of fields, and I just know a whole bunch of people who either are combining fields and combining their expertise from a given field, or they're working with people in other domains.
Fantastic. See, that's what great part to be in a big metropolitan cities. And like I'm in Chicago, there are people in New York, San Francisco, that you come across so many people from so many walks of life, and you integrate ideas and you find the vibrance, the energy.
That cross-pollination is amazing.
Exactly. And you come from different background. There might be a physicist, there might be a startup, a venture capitalist, but they're all probably trying to integrate their ideas and thoughts and bring a whole different thing, right?
Yeah, and Silicon Valley, I have to say, is a pretty incredible and unique. Now, I haven't spent a lot of time in Chicago. It very likely is very similar.
It's growing pretty fast, yeah.
But there's amazing intersectionality in the way that ideas come together in the Bay Area.
Okay, fantastic. So another question I have, and this is what the question I had for myself when I kicked off my video series, that why am I doing it? What made me do this? And I got my answer, and that made me passionate. When I found the reason for doing this, it just makes this effort so much vibrant and persuasive, right? So in your case, what made you do this podcast or this kind of subject matter? Why did you choose this thing? What changed your life, or something happened? What was it?
Yeah, well, I have to say that it's interesting you mentioned the reason. That this is actually what my episode that came out today is about. It's about the power of why. And I will say that one of the things that I think back to that really did influence me is my mother died about a year and a half ago, and she was not a very verbal person, and I found myself that as she was dying, she had pancreatic cancer, and she had 3 months before from being diagnosed to when she died. And I found that as she was dying, I wanted to hear from her. I wanted more information. She wasn't much of a talking person, but she was very encouraging and enthusiastic about what I did. And I thought my legacy and my goal really is to bring myself fully more into the world now.
Okay.
So I started to think what I'm passionate about, and one of the things I'm passionate about, and I realized is my superpower, is the idea of helping people see their beauty and their magnificence reflected back to them.
Awesome.
And I really believe that for people to embrace and recognize what that gift is that they bring to the world is critical for changing the world.
Sure.
And so the interesting thing is most people don't really know their superpower because it's so natural to them and so normal to them
Right.
that they don't even think of it as a superpower. So it became almost like my mission to help people recognize their superpowers and to celebrate them and
Right.
to amplify their voices so other people can see themselves reflected back or recognize a superpower that they want to
Absolutely.
nurture in themselves.
So we are all superhumans by our own rights. We have come like that,
Yeah.
and we don't have to go to Marvel Comics to kind of reflect ourselves through some other characters. We have those abilities inside
do.
of us to kind of culminate from that and kind of empower ourselves and people around us. That's the best
Yes,
part.
yes.
Superpower is about empowering others to cultivate and bring their superpowers outside.
Exactly.
So I believe that's the mission that you are on too, right?
And my belief is that the more that we can see that in ourselves and reflect it back to each other, that we can change the way the world experiences, the way the world is experienced. We can change
Absolutely.
the world one little person at a time
Right,
by
right,
bringing these gifts
right.
forward as fully as possible.
I heard this from Tony Robbins and Tim
Yeah.
Ferriss that it's just that if you can affect one person at a time,
Yep.
that person will affect two other person around them, and that environment is viral, right? So
Completely.
depending upon how deep you go farther out, if they keep on sharing your stuff,
Yeah.
then you can reach 5,000 people by just doing it for one person, because you're
Yes.
creating content of value, or the idea is so strong that it will go kind of transpire through the mass.
Absolutely.
And that's wonderful.
You know, and I just want to really acknowledge you because I think that by taking the risk and bringing yourself out in an environment
Yes,
like this,
myself, yeah.
it's fantastic because
Right.
really what you're doing is you're giving the gift to the
Right.
people who are watching you
Right.
that they can do the same and they can bring their voices forward too.
Wonderful.
So thank you for
Yeah. So we're talking about that. What inspired you to do this thing, right? And why you choose this path of reaching out to people, communicating your thoughts and ideas. But then, when you got into this first, who was your target audience? Who did you find the right listeners of your ideas and thoughts? What did you figure out?
Well, I could say that the people who are most interested in listening to my show are people who are passionate about finding their inner strength and bringing it forth into the world and really making a difference. But there are a couple of target audiences that I feel that I resonate more fully with, and those are generally women around the age of 30 who have been possibly building their career and are either willing and ready to go to the next stage in their career, or they may be thinking about changing lanes and
Sure.
building a family or moving into another stage.
Right.
Or they are women around the age of 50 or 55 who have potentially raised their kids and are looking at what they want to do as their next act. Because the way that things are going in terms of science right now, we're
Right.
living longer lives.
Right.
And it's time for our culture to see 50, 60, 70 as vibrant, possible, parts of our life that are
Right.
vibrant and have so much possibility for contribution. So it's usually those two populations that resonate most fully.
You know, a long time back, even a decade back, we used to say that 40 is the next 20, right?
Yeah.
So now it has moved up.
Totally.
Now it's like 50. It's 55 is the next 20,
Yes.
because people are changing a whole new lifestyle. There's a website called Ageist,
Yeah.
ageist.com, and what they do, the gentleman out of LA, Los Angeles, and he's promoting people starting a whole new life at the age of 50. You can be a painter, you can be a
Yes.
philosopher, you can be an artist, you can be an engineer, because you can learn any time in your life. It doesn't matter, or relearn.
It's interesting that you say that because obviously we're really
Yeah, right.
in sync in terms of what we're thinking. So that's
Right.
one of my primary messages, and I do speaking. And one of my speaking messages is that we can recreate ourselves. So I started ballroom dancing. I became a competitive ballroom dancer when I was 49, and when I was 50, I won a world title for my category in Pro-Am. And now,
No kidding.
Yeah, now I speak about the fact that we need to re-envision. Like people used to think 50 is a little person,
Right,
like
right.
No, 50, 60. This is
Yeah.
here you go. This
Yes,
is it.
exactly.
And so my message in my speaking,
Yeah.
in my talk for that.
You rediscover your mind, your body, your physical state, your mental state, and that's why you can do anything you want. It's not limited by age or by perception. It's as long as you are willing to change and move yourself to the next level and grow and progress. That's what makes a difference.
True.
So once again, we're at the event, and I just got hold of her. She's a very busy person, and I really appreciate you finding the time to talk to me today.
I really appreciate it.
And hey, LinkedIners, this is a great opportunity for, again, go back to the podcast, SuperPower U as a letter, look it up. And Lisa will keep on communicating, and I hope that you can join my other posts down the road and come in as a kind of guest appearance down the road.
I'm so glad to meet you, and I'm looking forward to continuing to follow your Tuesday shows.
Thank you, guys, and we'll see you next week again. And meanwhile, let me enjoy the sun as much as I can before I head back to a colder Chicago. Wonderful day, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.